Welcome to the magnificent TIO Stadium in Marara here in sunny Darwin. Big game coming up. Preliminary final action between Nightcliff and Banks is underway, and already it's the Bulldogs that are going forward through Priest, who puts it inside 50. No mark taken, but waiting down there is Napman. He's the leading goal kicker this season. Can't quite find a goal on this occasion. It spills out a play boundary, throwing inside 50 for the Bulldogs. Dave Kennedy's my name on AFL NTV, and it's our privilege to have someone who's very knowledgeable in territory footy and that does a great job promoting the sport. Jackson Clark, welcome to the broadcast.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate. I'm really looking forward to this game. Oh, hold on a bit, let you get back to the call.
Already it's a shot on goal coming from the Bulldogs. Goes across the face, I should say, there from Spencer. And a minor score. The first score of the game is going to the Bulldogs. So form is... what's the form like for these sides going into the game today, Jacko?
Yeah, look, it's very interesting. Banks, they looked a bit ordinary a couple of weeks ago when they lost to Nightcliff in the semi-final, but they were really good last week in torrid conditions against Waratah, and I know they're very confident, especially with the inclusion of Nick Salter, he'd be the best player in the Division 1 competition. Obviously a very, very impressive football resume.
Tigers through the veteran Robbie Campbell out towards the wing. That was an incredible inclusion, wasn't it, last week?
Yeah, crazy, but it's one of them feel-good stories that everyone loves Robbie Campbell. I think you're going to struggle to find a more respected person amongst football circles up here, and I guess he hasn't been successful in a premiership at Premier League level, so this would be a big chance here.
Tigers do well to emerge from the clearance. little bit of a bounce there as they move it forward. Here's Nathan Brown. He's played in about 14 divisions this season. Kicks down the ground, and the mark is taken here by Ullman. Goes inside 50. Target there is Clement Chalung. As that one's punched away from him. Boundary throw-in inside 50. 2 minutes gone on AFL NTV. It's Nightcliff playing Banks earlier today. The Buffaloes and Big Rivers played in an incredible preliminary final. At half-time, it was the Hawks that led by 13 points. In the end, the Buffaloes came storming back into the game in the third quarter and recorded an emphatic victory to win by 10 points and book a spot against Nightcliff in the under-18s division, or under-18s grand final, I should say, next week, which of course will be streamed live on AFL NTV. That's a cracking camera angle that we've got there. Have a look at this. As the Tigers go up towards the top of the goal square, Campbell is there. Spills out to him once again. Then he's well tackled and dispossessed. Coming through there is De Bono. He's dispossessed as well, umpire says. Holding the ball. So a free kick to the Tigers. First shot on goal coming up.
So Dave, I think this is going to be a riveting contest. Very contrasting styles, I think. Nightcliff will be looking to use the big ground at TIO Stadium. I know Banks are better suited to the more in tight sort of grounds of Gardens.
This might be Fay, I think, right across the face of goal. Good, strong defensive mark is taken. Nick Twelftree, he's another one of those Banks players that has a pretty good footy resume, Jacko.
That's it. The veteran Twelftree's played in the old Tifa comp for a long time and actually played a couple of games for NT Thunder.
Priest tries to palm one off, did well in the end. Got it out to Mitchell. Kicks further up the field. Fresh onto the ground here is Nick Salter. Sold a bit of candy and then got the handball off. Hayden Pearson up towards half forward. Can they find a mark? No mark taken. Napman doubles back towards the goals. Good defensive work from Spring. Sees that one out of play. Boundary thrown inside 50th for the Bulldogs.
Dave, very important that one, that matchup on Aaron Napman. Definitely probably the most dangerous small forward in the Division 1 competition. He won the leading goal kicker award and he's very mercurial around goals.
So about to be brought back into play. At the moment, there's just been one score, and that's been a behind to Banks, as this one is thrown in inside their attacking 50. Little shot on goal there from Matt Salter. Just dribbles out of play. Boundary throw in. Still inside 50 for the Bulldogs. Of course, the winner to play Pint. Is there any stopping Pint in this competition, Jacko?
Yeah, I think so, Dave. I think Pints are the deserved favourites for sure, but it's far from a foregone conclusion. Pints have a very even side across the board, but I think the winner of this game will fancy themselves.
Bulldogs have a good chance here through Spencer. Has it got the distance? Not quite. It's tapped back into play off the ground. There's the danger man. Napman kicks the first of the afternoon. And the Bulldogs lead by 7.
He's just so elusive, Dave. He's a type of player where he hasn't got any outstanding athletic attributes, but how good is it when someone just has that uncanny knack around goals to be able to, convert from wherever in the forward 50, basically.
If you had to compare him to an AFL player, is he sort of like a Stephen Milne type?
Yeah, it's the first name that come to mind, actually. Very, as you see, like Stephen Milne, he reads the play off the packs really, really well. I've had the pleasure to play a couple of games with him this year, and he's amazing how well he reads the football. Milne obviously not really athletic, but still finds a goal through smarts, just like Napman does.
Back in the middle of the ground, 12-3 doing the ruck work for the Bulldogs. It comes out the way there. Gugliotta didn't quite take it. Banks win the clearance up inside 50. Good strong mark is almost taken there. Nick Salter, in fact, the umpire has paid it. So Nick Salter will go back and Banks have a chance to kick 2 in a minute.
What a luxury is it, Dave, to have a player who's played 21 AFL games and kicked 52 goals in the NTFL just last year for Ainslie, just slot into your side come this time.
Not bad, is it? Nick Salter, a chance to extend the margin here for the Bulldogs. Starts it right. Is it going to bend enough? Not quite. Hits the post, so behind to Salter. 1-2-8 Banks. They lead Nightcliff. Yet to score. 6.5, almost 7 minutes gone on AFL NTV. There's a short one into the pocket, and 50 is given. Tigers, maybe just an early 50 call to sound the warning, you'd think, from the umpires. Another couple of big games coming up on AFL NTV, or a couple of big games coming up, one of them on AFL NTV. And that is, of course, the women's grand final after this. And then the big Premier League match, Southern Districts taking on Wanderers for a spot in the NTFL grand final later tonight. Not on our channel, unfortunately, but should be a good game all the same as Banks move it up towards the wing. 12-3, very mobile for a big man, and that's a good inboard kick. Found the target there, playing on almost prematurely was Bowie, lucky to get a free kick in the end. So he's just forward of the centre of the ground. Bowie just sends a high ball inside 50. Catch me if you can, they say. Spills out the back. Who leads the foot race? Knappman's there once again. What can he produce on this occasion? Was well tackled, got the handball off just in time. Nightcliff defence needs to be clean here. Chance here for Tim Adams to clear the danger zone. Campbell had to be strong, he was. Took a good mark at half back. Momentum hard to come by at the moment, Jacko. It's not really anyone's game, or it's not really flowing football at the moment, is it?
No, both sides trying to feel each other out there, which is what you'd expect in a final like this. There's a little bit of nervous energy that clubs will want to expel. I don't think anyone's got the real advantage so far. Obviously, Banks have capitalised on a few chances on goal, but Nightcliff still well in it. Watson
was very clean and then got it inside 50. Surely a push in the back against Dempsey. Umpire said no, that's all right. And then the short kick over the top. Quinn takes the mark. And he's going to go back and have a shot from 45 metres out, 45-degree angle. A couple of 45s, and really the first meaningful shot on goal for the Tigers coming up.
Harrison Quinn, obviously one of Nightcliff's star young junior players coming through. Probably an unheralded type, but one of the plethora of talent that Nightcliff have in the junior ranks.
In he comes. Lovely looking left foot kick. It's just away to the right though, or to the left I should say. Minor score. First score for the Tigers for the afternoon is a behind, one behind they are, and Banks 1-2-8 as the Bulldogs prepare to bring this ball back in. 12-3 the target once again. Good punch coming from Williamson from behind. Then he's over the footy once again. Whistle's gone. Trip, says the umpire. Williamson to take the free kick. About 60 metres out. He's probably too far out to score. Wheels around, kicks up towards the hot spot. What can the Tigers muster here? Almost a mark, almost a juggling effort. It's a good work there at ground level by Dylan Dempsey. Still in dispute at ground level. Nathan Brown, very clean in close. Got the handball back there to Hugh Spring, who put it inside 50. No mark completed there. Almost a chance for the Tigers. That was Clement Chalung once again. They clear defence, the Bulldogs, but only as far as Spring once again. Short kick is good, finds Brown, plays on, kicks inside 50. Diving effort there, no mark taken. Spills out, still a chance for the Tigers. Now on the left foot, the kick goes up towards the goal square from Adams. Standing underneath it is 12-3, takes a great defensive mark. 12-3, geez, it's a good bump that came maybe slightly off the ball there from Chris Kent, but Nightcliff force a boundary throw in inside their defensive 50, or near enough inside their defensive 50. Almost 11 minutes gone on AFL NTV. Division 1 action for all those tuning in, and then the women's grand final after this. Great smother, and then the great juggle came from Tibbetts, who kicked up towards the hot spot. Oh, just gathering and then kicking around the corner. Nicholas Baldwin just missing to the right-hand side. So a couple of behinds in the last couple of minutes for the Tigers. Two behinds. They trail by a goal. Banks 1-2-8. 11 and a half minutes gone. Long kick out of danger. The Tigers coming back once again though. Watson, short kick, no good. Had more time, really should have used that better, Jacko.
That was a poor kick there, Dave. He should have lowered his eyes there. But at the end of the day, I think the decision-making wasn't too bad, but it was just the execution of his skills. And come finals time, you need to make most of those opportunities.
Taunton then. Now the Bulldogs already inside attacking 50, and that was a great transition. Nick Salter once again. The kick-in board came from Will Johnson, who's another one of those Tifa players that's really made a name for himself.
Yeah, Will Johnson, my tip for the medal in the Division 1 competition this year. He's a very nice guy as well, very respected at Banks, been a leader on the field and off the field, I suppose, for a number of years now.
In comes Salter. It's a high kick, it's a long kick, it's just not quite straight enough. Another minor score. So 1-3-9, margin 7 points in favour of the Bulldogs. Nightcliff 2 behinds, 12.5 minutes gone first term. Tigers to bring this footy back into play. Hemsley's got it in the back pocket. Short to Tibbetts. So the game's reached a slight lull in this first quarter. As both teams fight for ascendancy. Spencer got it out, and then Pearson inside 50. Juggling effort. The mark is completed. Great mark, Scott Goetz.
It's a good mark, wasn't it, Dave?
He didn't really look like he was going to take the mark, but did well to control it in the end. And now a very gettable shot. These are the type of shots that both sides need to capitalise on today. He's only got 40 metres to contend with and no angle to speak of. In comes Goetz, really hacked at it. He got the distance fine. The ball went halfway up the net, but missed to the right. So still just the one goal that came off the ground, and it was the competition's leading goal kicker, Aaron Knappman, that kicked the goal. And we've played almost 14 minutes in this first term. Dave Kennedy and Jackson Clark bringing you through this game. Division 1 action on AFL NTV. After this, of course, the women's grand final coming up. Another huge game of footy. Short kick, marked by Justin Watson. Now Watson down the line. Once again, it's a lot of kicking down the line and a lot of hit and hoping. And the Bulldogs go inside 50. They should kick a goal here, really. Spencer put under pressure. Campbell claimed him. Did well to get his kick away just in time. And then a flying shot on goal there from Tarney. Goes across the face once again. So some serious opportunities missed by the Bulldogs, Jacko.
Yeah, Dave, they're peppering the goals. I guess it's a positive from Nightcliff that Banks haven't been able to capitalise, because really Banks easily could have had 3 or 4 goals on the board, and we know it's tough chasing a deficit in the finals.
Jeremy Ullman has got 20 out from his defensive line for the Tigers. Trailed this one by 9 points. Banks inaccurate, 1-5-11. They lead. Nightcliff 2 behinds. That kick clears its intended target. Now a dispute in the middle of the ground. Eventually that's won out by Baldwin, who got it over the top, and now suddenly a chance. Max Stretton ran inside 50. Didn't break stride, kicked on goal and missed. Once again, more time and maybe a few nerves, actually. Preliminary final action.
Yeah, well, if you look at the missed opportunities from Nightcliff, they've been by Max Stretton and Harrison Quinn, both players under the age of 18, so young blokes in their first final, at Division 1 level at least.
Here's Big Sam Priest. Kicking down the line. Wheeler inside 50. Johnson's there. Tries to dispossess his opponent. Spills free. And then shot on goal from Knappman. Misses everything. So both teams not using the footy with much efficiency at the moment, but that's sure to pick up once those first quarter jitters are out of the system. The winner of this game to take on Pint in the TIO NTFL Division 1 Grand Final, which of course will be shown live on AFL NTV next week. So make sure you let your family and friends know. Division 1 Grand Final live on AFL NTV, as Tigers out of defensive 50 at least momentarily. Coming through is Quinn, put his body on the line, and they force a stoppage at half forward. 1-5-11 the Bulldogs, leading Nightcliff 3 behinds. Just over 3 minutes until quarter time in this one. Kick inside 50. No mark taken, and now it's the Tigers' turn to clear defence through Hugh Spring. Long kick out of trouble. Should be a mark here, almost taken by John Fay. Whistle's gone. Not 100% sure what for. Maybe against the water carrier. I think, interesting that one. I think that's gone against the water carrier, but I think Nightcliff really had the run on anyway.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of movement in the forward 50 there, but I guess once the whistle goes and the players down the field stop, it's a safe option to bring it back and let them reset their play.
Campbell's floated forward. Takes the mark just forward of the centre of the ground. Kicks up towards the forward 50. Chalung flies, can't quite take it. Comes off hands. Bulldogs have numbers at ground level. They should clear this one. They link up by hands. Now Tani kicks to space. It's a good kick. Just Mitchell couldn't quite run onto it. Williamson knocks it out of play. Boundary throw in. Half forward for the Bulldogs.
Tom Williamson, David, the best and fairest winner for the Division 1 in Nightcliff. He's actually brothers with Shooter Williamson, the famous comedian.
There you go. These are the loosest ever bloke in the world or whatever.
I've heard that he's a bit of a different character, this Williamson, in regards to, I think he's a quiet, mild-mannered guy compared to his brother. So
there you go. Johnson puts this one inside 50. No mark taken. Great work from the Tigers to defend that one. That was Gugliotta. But then the kick didn't find a target. Shane Lurk puts it inside 50. Knapman, well wrapped up. The umpire says not well wrapped up. In the back, geez, a bit stiff there was Mark Tibbetts.
Of course, in the back line there you can hear the background of this game. You can hear Gaetano Gugliotta, the father of the Ginger Ninja, Anthony Gugliotta, in the background. He's always willing to yell out and give advice to his teammates or the umpires. Very vocal supporter.
Here's the shot on goal, right across the face, and just a minor score there. So some missed opportunities here for the Bulldogs. They really could have been 3 or 4 goals up at quarter time. At the moment, they're just 9 points up, 1-6-12. They lead Nightcliff, 3 behinds. 20 minutes gone, first term on AFL NTV. Dangerous kick in, doesn't find the target. Oh, Tigers will be wanting this one to end, and they win themselves a free kick, and a little bit of afters going on here between the players. But a free kick all the same. It's going to be taken here by John Fay in the back pocket for the Tigers. Not too long to go now. Just playing out time in this first quarter as the siren is imminent. Fay, long and down the line. Big mark over the top. Pearson, not paid. Play on, said the umpire. Banks in for one last foray forward. Comes off hands, and there's the siren. So at quarter time, it's the Bulldogs that lead by 9 points on AFL NTV. Pretty close game, this one so far. Make sure you stick with us. Back soon after this break.
After a hard day's work, you deserve it. When you're catching up with mates, you deserve it. Grabbing a bite with the missus, you deserve it. A drive after a few, you deserve it. A road safety message from TAO.
Every cigarette you smoke inside your car hurts the ones you love. And some of them don't have a choice. The next time you decide to have a cigarette, think about who else you're hurting. Smoking can kill those close to you. For help, call the Quit line.
Do you know a family in crisis? Contact the North Australian Aboriginal Family Violence Legal Service. We provide legal advice, representation, referral services and support to family and community. Break the chains of family violence today. Healing NT Families. For more information, call us today.
For Territorians, the roads are more than bitumen. They connect us. For TIO, it's the same. For taking us on safe journeys, for travelling free, for twists and turns, for turning the corner, for taking you back to health. Road safety for Territorians.
Amart Sports is your home of great sports with all the gear you need. Get a massive range of fitness, cycling, sporting equipment and games with clothing for any reason and footwear for all the seasons. From the biggest sporting brands in the world for the very best prices guaranteed. If you're a footy fanatic or a freak for fitness, relish the racket or bikes in your business. Amart Sports has got you covered with 50 stores Australia-wide. For a great range of great brands at great prices, get in store or shop online at Amart Sports today.
What did he say? He says you can see quite well.
Every eye is an eye. When you're doing the surgery there, that is just as important as if you were doing eye surgery on the Prime Minister or the King.
Yeah. He's going to be all right.
That's from 80 and 60.
Second quarter on AFL NTV underway from TIO Stadium here in Darwin, and it's the Bulldogs that lead by 9 points moving into this second term, and they're the ones that are going to go forward once again in the start of this second quarter as Reece Mitchell puts them inside 50, but it's all cut off there by Hugh Spring. Dave Kennedy's my name, and joined by Jackson Clark as a great smother there from Bounty sees Johnson have a shot on goal, or I should say Knappman have a shot on goal. Just a minor score in the end though. Jackson Clark, as I mentioned, joins me, and Jacko, it's been an uninspiring start, I guess you'd call it, to this game, with Banks missing a number of opportunities.
Yeah, that'd be fair to say, mate. I guess the big story I reckon so far is that Nightcliff are struggling for forward options up the ground. They don't have Kane Riley, Dion Gordon, Ross Carpenter because of the qualification rules, and Gordon and Riley combined for I think 6 of 8 of their goals when they beat them 2 weeks ago, so they'll really struggle to find forward opportunities.
Free kick here for the Tigers. 50.
This will help them.
Well, I'm not 100% sure I saw what that was for. Was it just an encroachment of the 5 metre protected area maybe?
Yeah, it looked that way, Dave. What's your take on the match so far? Do you think that Nightcliff are getting outclassed here, or how do you see it?
I think that that Banks have had most of the momentum. I just think that they've been inaccurate. So, as you say, shots like this, they're worth their weight in gold for the Tigers. And the man to take the shot, Justin Watson, should kick a goal, really. Only 15 metres out. He'll kick from directly in front, and he does. The Tigers open their goal account, and they reduce the margin. Just 4 points in it once again. 2 minutes into the second term, and it's the Tigers 1-3-9, Banks 1-7-13 on AFL NTV.
Yeah, they're the goals you need to kick, Dave, and Watson certainly didn't let his side down. How good is it to see Stewie Carr still running around? He coaches his side, puts himself on the ball.
Pretty incredible effort, isn't it? So you can see him out there. How's he going to go at this clearance? In the end, it's his direct opponent, Tarney, that wins the clearance as they kick it up towards centre half forward. Here's Tarney once again, though, to cut things off for the Bulldogs. Kicks wide towards Pearson, wants him to run onto it. Did well. Good effort there from Hemsley to affect that kick. And Tigers cut things off at half back. And here is that man you just mentioned, Carr. The umpire paid him a mark that he shouldn't have been paid. He was good enough to pick it up and put it on the boot straight away, though. Very clean there. And then the handball off towards Baldwin. Goes into the pocket. And Geelong takes that one out. Might have been Dylan Dempsey that gathered really cleanly there.
I think Dylan Dempsey is a very important player for him, a former North Adelaide footballer. He's got very big raps at Tigers, coached the Division 1 side last year, so he offers that on-field leadership, and I think he could play a big role in this match.
Inside 50 for the Tigers, but the Bulldogs win the clearance, and it's a good clearing kick up towards Nick Salter. Takes the mark just backwards of the wing. Salter, long kick down the line. Looking for Knappman. Good work from his direct opponent, though, to Tibbetts. Handball, little underground handball towards Williamson. Knappman. Bit of advice from the crowd coming through the
Mr. Gugliotta.
Was it?
Yep.
Classic. And that one goes out of play. Boundary throw in. Bowie takes that out. 4.5 minutes gone, second term, AFL NTV action. Bulldogs leading by 4 points. Williamson got front position, tapped it down. Ullman runs onto it. Got a bit of time and space to work with. Needs to use the footy. He does. Got it up to centre half forward. Promising build up here from the Tigers. Mark is taken by Nicholas Baldwin. Inside 50 to the hot spot. Geelong takes the mark. That's a good passage of play.
May have been a bit lucky there with the call for the mark, Geelong, but that's exactly what Nightcliff wanted to see. Obviously, Stewie Carr would have been encouraging that ball movement when his quarter time address. And a goal here would be very handy. Just got the thumbs up from someone in the crowd. Thanks, mate.
Here is Clement Geelong. Comes in to put the Tigers in front. After not really having too much of the footy inside, they're attacking 50. He does. And they're out to a 2-point advantage. 2-3-15. They lead Banks 1-7-13. 5.5 minutes gone, second term.
Dave, I think Nightcliff are playing the way where you can exploit Banks. Banks are a very good side, a very well structured team, very good around the clearances and contested situations. But if Nightcliff can encourage that quick ball movement and try and exploit them on the spread, I think they'll get a lot of opportunities with an open forward line if that's how they continue to play.
I've actually, the thing that I've noticed is that some of the marking has been pretty good, particularly from the centre-half forwards. I feel like there's a lot of Premier League clubs that could benefit from a link-up centre-half forward. We see that McFarlane continually dominates games at centre-half forward for Saints, but I feel like the Premier League competition lacks a genuine centre-half forward, and maybe someone like a Salter or a 12th Tree or one of those big bodies from Division 1 could fill the void, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think everyone would love Salter, but he's only playing here through a family connection, so I think that's unlikely that he'd go. But you're right. The way the modern footy's going is they're really trying to avoid that area which they call the turnover zone. So they're going to go long and deep, which I guess is more likely to kick a goal if you're 30 out as opposed to 60 out.
Banks with the numbers. Wheeler inside 50. Is that a push out from behind? Umpire says no. And a good mark is taken all the same. Charlie Hall. Good kick, finds Williamson. Had to be perfect, and it was. Allowed Hugh Spring to link up by hands, and once again a good build-up from the Tigers. Justin Watson, already a goal this quarter. Kicks up towards Chalung once again. Didn't quite take the mark this time. Comes off hands. Nicholas Baldwin. Chalung around the corner. Is there advantage? No. Free kick anyway. So it's going to be a free kick to Baldwin, I feel.
Baldwin from St Arnaud. I believe he's come to the club through a connection with Nathan Brown. Played a fair bit of Premier League action during the year, but probably didn't perform up to Premier League standard. But I've now been offered a pizza from the crowd. But he's... Oh, that's a terrible miss.
Has that gone into the post?
It has. That's inexcusable, Dave. 15 out straight in front. You just can't miss those goals.
And that's the type of thing that lingers, that'll linger in his mind for the rest of the game. And he's going to have to put that behind him now. But as you say, that's a terrible miss. 2-4-16. Nightcliff. Banks 1-7-13. 8 minutes gone in the second term. Nathan Brown did well. Got the handball free to Carr. Kicked inside 50. And maybe another chance coming up there for Baldwin. Didn't quite take the mark. Spills out of play. Boundary throw in.
How have you seen Nathan Brown's game? I think he's getting involved in many contests. Has looked a little bit sloppy with the football, but I suppose after a long layoff with those ankle issues, you can expect that.
Yeah, hard to judge. Like I think that player like Brown, it's not necessarily about how many touches he has as well. There's no doubt that he has great footy smarts, and he might be able to organise the troops out on the field. So I think he's definitely an asset that you'd like out there. As this one's brought back into play. Chalung out the back, almost sharked the footy. Little one out of trouble. Johnson through traffic. Did well. Banks out of trouble. The kick comes up towards Sam Priest. Got a fist on it. One-on-ones here. That's in the back, surely. Umpire said no. Play on. Priest took the benefit of the doubt. Kicked inside 50. Matt Salters there. Good one-on-one battle here with Gugliotta. Gugliotta wins out comfortably in the end and kicks towards Adams, who was taken out of the play illegally, said the umpire. So Adams with the free kick at half-back. Giving it straight back though. And Banks are going to go back in towards attacking 50. Matt Salter is the target. Let it bounce in front of himself. They still might get another opportunity. No options presenting further up the field, so really in two minds there was Sutherland, and he was taken out of play. Boundary throw in at half forward for the Bulldogs. 10.5 minutes gone.
Dave, I've been impressed with Anthony Gugliotta on the last line of defence. Very good in the one-on-one. Still only 21 years of age. Played over 50 Premier League games. He's a hard man to stop. He's a good contested mark. And I don't think the Banks forward will be in for an easy day playing on him.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Gugliotta, as you say, probably hasn't had... well, if you judge him on previous Premier League seasons, a very good player in his own right. So no doubt might see him back in the Premier League more consistently very soon. High, strong mark is taken. Pearson plays on and kicks the goal. Here's the reply for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, he'd love his time again there, the veteran Robbie Campbell. I think he was ball watching a little bit too much there. Let his direct opponent get in better position and didn't read the fall of the ball real well.
Bulldogs back in front, 2-7-19. Tigers 2-4-16 and 11 and a half minutes gone. Second term action on AFL NTV. Back in the middle of the ground, Carr lost his footing, was dispossessed. Tarney got it over the top. Pearson, the goal kicker, inside 50. Great clearance play from the Bulldogs. Ends in the hands of Reece Mitchell.
It's interesting, Dave. They've thrown Nick Salter on the ball. He's probably more renowned as a forward or a key defender at AFL level. What do you think about his movement on the ball?
Yeah, well, I like the bigger bodies anywhere around the ground, so I think he's an asset wherever he plays. Shot on goal looks pretty good. And it's a goal. Reece Mitchell joins the goal kickers, and the Bulldogs have a couple in a minute.
Yeah, well, it kind of undoes all of Nightcliff's good work at the start of the quarter, doesn't it? It really hurts you when clubs can get that roll on and kick 2 goals in a very short period of time. It's just as much as it does scoreboard damage, it also affects your confidence mentally, I think, when teams can kick easy goals against you.
3-7-25 Banks, Nightcliff 2-4-16. 13 minutes gone, second term on AFL NTV. Williamson in the ruck, good tackle there from Carr on Spencer. And now Nick Salter, as you mentioned, thrown into the midfield. And it's the Tigers that are going forward though. Jones Cabillo around the footy. Also there is Nick Salter. Bulldogs moving forward up towards their attacking 50. Big pack forms. Good work at ground level from the Bulldogs. They should be able to mop this one up and have a shot on goal. Nothing as yet though. Shepherd and high contact paid, so a free kick to the Tigers. Kick out of defensive 50. Boundary throw in the result. Nine points the difference on AFL NTV, and it's Banks leading Nightcliff, playing for a spot in the TIO NTFL Division 1 Grand Final. Salter, spearing pass inside 50. Matt Salter this time couldn't quite take the mark. Both Salters having an influence on this one so far, and there's a free kick paid Nightcliff way. Might have been for a hold.
Dave, I've been impressed with Brad Tarney for Banks out of the midfield. He's a pretty robust footballer. He's had a really good season, and he's got a lot of the football today.
I agree with you. I think he's been very good in the midfield there. Here's Campbell spinning his way out of trouble and looks for that short kick inside. Didn't hit a target though. Puts everyone under a bit of pressure. Pack forms. The umpire assesses the scene and calls for the footy. 15 minutes gone, second term. Low scoring affair so far. It's Banks 3-7-25, leading Nightcliff 2-4-16. Just overrunning the footy there was Watson. Little short kick. Danger zone. Nick Salter emerges with the footy, then kicks towards the boundary line. In fact, it's out of bounds on the full. So the Tigers just content to work it around their defensive 50. A little 1-2. Ends up opening up play here for Tibbetts, who then sends a long ball down the line. No mark taken. Comes out towards Tent, and then how do you reckon we say this bloke's name? Bronte Tont? Tenty? Anyone who's listening, hashtag AFL NTV. How do you pronounce Bronte's name? As Tigers send this one forward. 2 grabs. Very strong mark is taken. And it's going to be a shot on goal coming up for John Fay.
Bit of a no-frills footballer, Johnny Fay. Bit of a no-frills name, actually, John Fay, but...
So you can't get much less than that, 6 letters, hey?
Yeah, it'd be very easy to write down when filling out forms. Very time efficient. See if he can kick this goal.
In comes Fay. High ball. Has it got the distance? It's right to the goal line. We'll wait on the goal umpire signal. It's a goal. Fay kicks the goal and, yeah, sorry, Jacko, the Tigers are back in front.
Yeah, the man with the short name doesn't let us down.
He doesn't, but I think I have, because I don't think that's quite correct. I think that they're not back in front, but they're back within 3 points. 17 and a half minutes gone. Banks 3-7-25, leading at Nightcliff 3-4-22. Time for both teams to score before the half-time break. There's a free kick going the Tigers' way. Williamson to take it in the middle of the ground. And Banks player's not happy, but Williamson took his kick all the same. Mopping up is Kent for Banks, and then Raymond Scarlett knocks it out of defensive 50. Still in dispute, about 80 out from the Banks defensive goal, but Kaz Black sends a ball down the line, and the Banks are out of trouble and pressing forward. Handball comes out to Spencer. Back to Pearson. Kicks inside 50, looking for Matt Salter. Close attention there from Gugliotta. Gugliotta wins that battle once again and takes it out of bounds. Boundary throw in inside 50 for the Bulldogs.
Very low scoring game, Dave. I think that's a testament to the defence of both sides.
Back into play. Wheeling around and kicking on the left foot up towards the hot spot. Campbell comes back with the flight. Did well to affect the contest. Knappman got the handball out to Chadwick. And then Johnson dispossessed as he kicked it. Good fierce pressure coming from both sides. And in the end, Williamson takes a good defensive mark with just under a minute to go in this first half of footy on AFL NTV in the Division 1. Williamson kicks clear. Dylan Dempsey is the man that can run onto the footy. Got the handball over the top. Wants to link up with Brown. We got it back towards Dempsey. And now they're out of trouble and pressing forward, the Tigers. Kick inside 50. Can they find a mark? Good body work shown. But mopping up is De Bono. Dangerous handball. Still under pressure. The Bulldogs. Watson around the corner. He kicks a late goal. The Tigers are back in front in the shadows of half-time.
He's been dangerous down there, Watson. That was obviously a nice finish there. I don't think it's good signs for Banks, to be honest with you, Dave. Nightcliff probably fielding one of their worst sides for the year, I think, just about. It's a very big call, but a lot of their Premier League players obviously unavailable due to the qualification rules. Banks started the game as hot favourites, and I think, considering the calibre of player that Nightcliff have out, it's a bit of a disappointing first half.
Half-time on AFL NTV. It's the Tigers that somehow found themselves in front. 3 points adrift of Banks. 4-4-28 plays 3-7-25. Plenty more action on the other side of this. Stick with us.
After a hard day's work, you deserve it. When you're catching up with mates, you deserve it. Grabbing a bite with the missus, you deserve it. But drive after a few, you deserve it. A road safety message from TAO.
Every cigarette you smoke inside your car hurts the ones you love. And some of them don't have a choice. The next time you decide to have a cigarette, think about who else you're hurting. Smoking can kill those close to you. For help, call the Quit line.
Do you know a family in crisis? Contact the North Australian Aboriginal Family Violence Legal Service. We provide legal advice, representation, referral services and support to family and community. Break the chains of family violence today. Healing NT Families. For more information, call us today.
For Territorians, the roads are more than bitumen. They connect us. For TIO, it's the same. For taking us on safe journeys, for travelling free, for twists and turns, for turning the corner, for taking you back to health. Road safety for Territorians.
Patrons are reminded that TIO Stadium is strictly a non-smoking venue and that patrons wishing to smoke must use the areas provided.
Amart Sports is your home of great sports with all the gear you need. Get a massive range of fitness, cycling, sporting equipment and games with clothing for any reason and footwear for all the seasons. From the biggest sporting brands in the world for the very best prices guaranteed. If you're a footy fanatic or a freak for fitness, relish the racket or bikes are your business. Amart Sports has got you covered with 50 stores Australia-wide. For a great range of great brands at great prices, get in store or shop online at Amart Sports today.
What did he say? He says you can see quite well.
Every eye is an eye. When you're doing the surgery there, that is just as important as if you were doing eye surgery on the Prime Minister or the King.
Yeah. He's going to be all right.
rugby. We want to let you know that registrations for junior football are now open.
Grab your friends and sign up to play our game.
We play footy because we love it. To join your local club, visit playafl.com.au.
After a hard day's work, you deserve it. When you're catching up with mates, you deserve it. Grabbing a bite with the missus, you deserve it. A drive after a few, you deserve it. A road safety message from TIO.
Every cigarette you smoke inside your car hurts the ones you love. And some of them don't have a choice. The next time you decide to have a cigarette, think about who else you're hurting. Smoking can kill those close to you. For help, call the Quit line.
Do you know a family in crisis? Contact the North Australian Aboriginal Family Violence Legal Service. We provide legal advice, representation, referral services and support to family and community. Break the chains of family violence today. Healing NT Families. For more information, call us today.
For Territorians, the roads are more than bitumen. They connect us. For TIO, it's the same. For taking us on safe journeys, for travelling free, for twists and turns, for turning the corner, for taking you back to health. Road safety for Territorians.
AFL Northern Territory are committed to providing a safe environment for all patrons. To report any antisocial behaviour, text the issue and your location to 0498 062 213. Please note, responses cannot be sent.
Amart Sports is your home of great sports with all the gear you need. Get a massive range of fitness, cycling, sporting equipment and games with clothing for any reason and footwear for all the seasons. From the biggest sporting brands in the world for the very best prices guaranteed. If you're a footy fanatic or a freak for fitness, relish the racket or bikes in your business, Amart Sports has got you covered with 50 stores Australia-wide. For a great range of great brands at great prices, get in store or shop online at Amart Sports today.
What did he say? He says you can see quite well.
Every eye is an eye. When you're doing the surgery there, that is just as important as if you were doing eye surgery on the Prime Minister or the King.
Yeah. He's going to be all right.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium. A huge second half of footy coming up on AFL NTV. Division 1 preliminary final action. The winner will book themselves a spot in the grand final. The loser will pack their bags and go home for season 2014-15. Dave Kennedy's my name. Jackson Clark joining me today as already the Bulldogs go inside 50 through Sam Priest. Good bumper there coming from Carr. Campbell takes it out of play. Boundary throw in at half back. In fact, there might be a free kick. No. Boundary throw in at half back for the Tigers. As I mentioned, Jackson Clark joining me today. And, Jacko, it's been a very tight and low-scoring affair so far.
Yeah, a bit of a lacklustre game, but not a bad one, mate. It's close and it's physical, and all the players are, very willing out there, so it should be a very good finish. Speaking of
close and tight games, the Waratah Tracy Village grand final coming up, the women's grand final, and no doubt there'll be ladies flinging themselves at the footy in that match. You got a tip for that one, Jacko?
It's hard to go past Waratahs. They've got a very good side there with Ange Foley and Abby Holmes in attack. Tracy Village have had a very good season, but I don't know if they'll have enough to get the job done today.
Hugh Spring, he's been pretty good in defence for Nightcliff today, I feel, and see how he uses it on this occasion. That's another good example of the play that he's capable of. Found Campbell on the far side. Long kick down the line. Good juggling mark taken. Dylan Dempsey, who's another player that's been reasonably good for Nightcliff, Jacko.
Yeah, very experienced player. Played an important game in the Premier League on Darren Ewing a couple of weeks ago. And he'll be one to watch out for in this last half.
So Tigers move forward. Brown flies from behind. Nightcliff have runners at ground level. Which one of them was Ullman. Banks clear defensive 50 for now. Reece Mitchell was their hope. Tigers able to cut it off though. And then the kick in board is pretty good. Finds Spring once again. The back edge of the centre square is defensive edge of the centre square.
He's a bit of a general back there, isn't he, Hugh Spring, Dave?
Yeah, I think he's been pretty good today and taken plenty of defensive marks. Him and Campbell combined once again. They go down the wing towards Quinn, who takes the mark and goes inside 50. Chalung flies and takes the mark. He got up early, edged his opponent out of the way. It was James De Bono, and he's going to go back and have a shot on goal.
There's something about Chalung, Dave. Looks like an X factor up there. Definitely his speed and his vertical jump looks very ominous there. I reckon he could be the type that could turn a game.
Well, he's already kicked one. He kicked it in the second term. Nightcliff didn't manage to kick a goal in the first term. They managed to kick 4 in the second term, and they lead by 3 points. In he comes, Clement Chalung, right to the goal line, but very solid defensive mark taken by Twelftree. Now short. Lurk right down the line. No mark taken. Ullman through the traffic. Williamson just put his arms up in the air and tried to avoid the tackle. Johnson claimed him and then claimed the footy. Got it to Wheeler, kicked up to centre half forward. Mark taken by Bowie, wants to kick further into space. Chadwick's the man he needs to run onto the footy. Chadwick battling with Tibbetts. Tibbetts did very well. Socket off the ground, and they're out of trouble, the Tigers, through Mark Tibbetts. Didn't quite get as much purchase on the footy as he would have liked, but he did well to wrap up his opponent. And Peter Bowie once again, and win himself a free kick. Tibbetts not done with yet. Umpire says no advantage though.
Where do you see this Bankside, Dave? Like, they've got a lot of... They seem to be a champion team more so than a team of champions. Do you see anyone out there that you think could play Premier League level?
I think that there's a number of the players that could. I think that, as I mentioned, there's some big bodies in there that I would love to have at my disposal if I was coaching in the Premier League. And as you mentioned, Salter's probably off limits, but someone like a 12-tree, or even though they're probably big and might be past their prime, you'd say. I think ruckmen are always difficult to come by, and big bodies as the Tigers go in towards Geelong once again. Pack sort of overran the footy, and it's not out of trouble yet for the Bulldogs. Nathan Brown, little underground handball, and then Geelong running through, runs in and bangs one through. No, he missed. Should have kicked the goal.
Yeah, just on that, Dave. Eric Klinky's probably a good example. He carried the ruck for Banks for a couple of seasons and had a really good year at Nightcliff. I believe another ruckman of theirs went to Southern Districts at the start of the season. So from what I gather, Banks encouraged their players to try at Premier League level, which I think is really good from a Division 1 club to do that. It's very unselfish of them not to stifle their potential as a footballer, because it'd be very tempting, obviously, to keep your better players, obviously. So good on them, I think.
They're pretty open about their ambitions as well to become a Premier League side at some stage, and of course got the chance to do that last year. Last year was it? The year before?
Yeah, it might have been 2 years ago.
When they
picked up a win against Wanderers, actually.
Played in a trial match. I do recall that game actually down at Gardens Oval.
Yep.
As Brown goes inside 50. Sutherland got the clearing kick. Only as far there as Jones Cabillo. Good kick, measured kick inside 50. Another opportunity coming up for the Tigers. Justin Watson's already kicked 2 today, so he is the major goal kicker on the ground so far.
They've been fast starters, Nightcliff. I reckon they've started the opening quarter, last quarter, and now this one better than Banks.
In he comes. Set sail from right on 50. Geelong try to fly from behind, but it's well punched through by the Banks defence, and a minor score the result. Nightcliff extend the margin. 5 points now.
He's been good back there, 12 tree.
He goes short, finds Kaz Black, keeps on running. Unconventional kicking style, but it's a perfect kick. And it hits Priest, I should say, right on the chest, just backwards of the wing. Bit of a size difference there. Priest and Stewie Carr on the mark. Priest kicks up towards half forward. No mark taken, it comes off hands. Reece Mitchell, it's buried. Umpire says play on. Tarney, long handball forward to Bits though, tries to cut this one off. Didn't quite take clean possession. Massive collision there. John Fay went straight to ground. And might have collided there with Hayden Pearson. Good tap down there from Priest once again. Nightcliff trying desperately to defend. Charlie Hall right in the thick of it. Got boot to ball. Carr got the clearing kick out towards the boundary line. Both players happy to see that one over. Boundary throw in. Good defence from the Tigers.
Dave, do you think this game will open up a bit, or could you see it being a real tight affair right down to the wire?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be tight all the way, I feel. But as you say, fitness is going to come into it in the latter part of this game. It's a 2 o'clock game. Always difficult conditions for both teams. But I sort of feel like it's going to be tight all the way. As Johnson gets the kick inside 50. Priest, he's had 5 minutes to remember. Takes the mark. Short kick is good.
It's poor checking there by Nightcliff.
The Bulldogs will have a chance to kick goal number 4 for the match. And it's through Hayden Pearson, who's already got one today.
I guess the game probably lacked a genuine game breaker. Without Dion Gordon and players like that for Nightcliff, as he converts the goal for the Bulldogs.
Good goal for Pearson, and they get around him because the Bulldogs are back in front. 4-7 plays 4-6, almost 10 minutes gone in the third term, and it's just 1 point the difference in the Division 1 preliminary final. The winner to take on Pint next week. And suddenly, there's a bit of urgency in this game.
Yeah, as I was trying to say, there's not a genuine game breaker, I don't think, playing out here. Maybe you look to a Nathan Brown or a Dylan Dempsey type for the Tigers, and for Banks, possibly an Aaron Knappman. But I think when you look at their good players like Will Johnson and that, they're more the workhorse types that you know what you're going to get from every week, just a consistent performance. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Possibly Salter. He'd be the game breaker, I'd imagine, for Banks.
I reckon this guy, Priest, has been pretty good in the last 5 minutes. He's really lifted. Chadwick got the handball. Tarney set sail from 55, and it's another straight kick for the Bulldogs. No, it's still in. They're going to kick a goal anyway. Napman. Oh, wow. What just happened? Touched on the line. I was convinced that was a goal, Jacko.
Same, mate. I stopped watching. I thought it was going straight through the middle, and then obviously a last-ditch effort on defence for the Tigers.
It's the cliche thing to do in this circumstance is talk about that funny-shaped ball. And on that occasion, looks like that denied the Bulldogs a certain goal. Play on advantage from the free kick. Bulldogs inside 50. Cutting it off Hugh Spring, though. Tigers work it wide. Where's the Nightcliff runner at the moment? He's not out there on the ground. You get a mention out there for Rhett Bowden doing the running for the Tigers today. Ball just forward of centre wing for the Tigers. Couldn't find a winner. 12-3, got the handball off. Bulldogs building. They go inside 50. Long penetrating kick. Can they find a mark? Comes off hands. And was well punched out of the defensive zone. Ooh, Spring stood right underneath that and then copped a late hit.
Put his body on the line there, Spring. I think he's been one of the best players on the ground today for mine.
Yeah, 50-metre penalty given as well. Late contact in the marking contest.
Good to see Mark Chadwick there help him up. He's certainly not a malicious person, Mark Chadwick. I've met him a couple of times and he's a nice guy.
I reckon, yeah, I saw Chadwick come to him, but I reckon Tarney might have been the offending player.
All right.
Long switching kick. Hall's going to go short to Jones-Cabillo. Didn't quite take the mark. It spills out of play. Boundary throw in. Bit of interesting artwork there on the interchange bench. We've got almost St Mary's-esque interchange lines this week.
Can't complain about that then, Dave.
Boundary throw in. Williamson, the brother of the loosest person in the world. On the tap down. Justin Watson finds himself a long way from goal. Oh, big fly there. Came from Hall over the top. Didn't quite come down with it. Still in dispute on centre wing. Eventually Wheeler. And then Tarney. High kick. Up towards the wing. Priest. Clean in close. Got the handball out. Salter. Kicks up towards centre half forward. Coming back with the flight Spring. Geez, he's been good in defence.
Just reads the play so well. He was a pretty important member of Nightcliff's side in 2011-12 that should have almost won the competition but were denied by Tiwi.
It was a creative kick from Spring out to Baldwin, who kicked on in turn to Fay. Didn't take the mark. Can he gather at ground level? Not quite. Well tackled. Did well to flick the ball out, and now the shot on goal from Brown has missed. And from the moment he put ball on boot, you could tell that Nathan Brown was not happy with that effort.
Dave, we spoke earlier about Banks not making the most of their chances, but what about the Tigers? They had Baldwin miss that shot from point-blank range, Chalung a couple of minutes ago, and Nathan Brown there, obviously. Nightcliff really could have taken this game, I reckon.
Well, it's hard to believe that from the crowd, I guess, we haven't really got into this game yet, that this match is a preliminary final, 15 minutes into the third term, and it's just 1 point the difference in favour of the Bulldogs, and they're going forward again as Kaz Black sends it to the turnover zone. Will it be a turnover or will it be a score? At the moment, it's in dispute. Spills out to Hugh Spring. Clever handball once again. The umpire said he got one high after his efforts as well. Geez, I've been impressed with him today, Jacko. He's got numbers on the grandstand side. If he wants to come out this way, it's a dangerous kick. It had to be perfect and was. Watson, another good player for the Tigers, inside 50. Here's a second opportunity maybe for Brown. Didn't quite tap it far enough in front. It spills out though. Ullman, can he gather? Not quite. Bulldogs trying desperately to defend, heading for the boundary line and getting the boundary line. Good result for them. Boundary throw-in, about 45 out from the Tigers' goals.
Take a look at Big Paddy Doyle there, number 32 for Nightcliff. I think he's lost about 30 kilos in a month or two. Used to be a big hulking presence, and now he's looking very trimmed down.
There you go. Well, here's a chance for Ullman. Runs to 20 metres out, and there's a goal. Split the middle, and the Tigers are back in front.
Yeah, I know we've been harping on about it, but how good's Hugh Spring been in that back line? Really just not only his courageous efforts marking the ball, but his creativity by foot. He's had the ball on a string or a ball on a spring maybe. But
cut it out.
That's a terrible joke, but the point stands. He's been really important for the Tigers back there.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. Ball retrieved and we're right to go once again. 5 points the difference. The Tigers leading this one. Bulldogs win the clearance through Salter, who's in the middle of the ground at the moment. Up towards centre half forward. Now a chance for Matt Salter. That was Nick Salter that sent it inboard. Free kick though, Tigers free kick. Nightcliff leading this one by 5 points. 3.5 minutes to go in the third term. Short kick. Finds it. Spencer, who kicks inside 50. And now, surely a goal for the Bulldogs. Knappman runs on, kicks a goal.
Didn't quite pick up who it was, but that was very smart play there by the Banks forward, who just tapped it onto the advantage of Aaron Knappman. He's a very clean player, Knappman. He's not going to fumble that when he's running into an open goal, so very smart play there. Dave, where would you play Nick Salter? Obviously a very talented player. Do you think he could turn a game playing in that centre-half forward, full forward position, or would you keep him on the ball?
I think at the moment, I like him in the middle, and I just feel like Banks are starting to get on top in the clearances, and they go forward again. Spencer inside 50, opportunistic in the end. The kick was pretty average, but it's cut off, and might be Raymond Scarlett, who just had the ball fall into his lap.
Or this could be Knappman.
Oh, no, Knappman, sorry. As you said, he's already kicked one about 30 seconds ago. So here comes Knappman to put the Bulldogs 7 points clear. He bangs it through.
Yeah, he's a player that you can't afford to give. Even a metre of space is too much for him. He converts his goals really well. I know I learnt my lesson a couple of seasons ago trying to play on Ross Tungatallum. You can hold them quiet for a quarter. They might not get a touch, and then they can kick 3 goals in a minute, which is what Aaron Knappman's threatening to do here. He's already kicked 2 in short succession. These creative forwards that are very good finishers on goal, you need to stick very tight to them. Tibbetts has got the job on him at the moment.
Well, suddenly Banks back out to a 7-point lead. And they're going forward again. Spencer, he's won the last 2 centre clearances. Kicks inside 50. Another mark is taken, this time by Peter Bowie. Well, it's been an inspired minute and a half or so, Jacko. And suddenly, the Bulldogs are looking $1 million as Bowie comes in. It'd take a pretty good kick. But if he kicks a goal, it'll be the last kick of the third quarter. Bowie right to the goal line. It's still in play. Good tackle there coming from Fay. Wraps things up. And a ball up. Not too much time left. Can the Bulldogs manage to kick a goal? They're the only side that can score again in this third term. The tap comes back into play. Gathering the footy is the Bulldogs, but no free kick forthcoming. Matt Salter goes in. There's the siren. 3/4 time on AFL NTV. And it is the Bulldogs. Banks by 7 points over the Tigers. 6:8:44 plays 5:7:37. A huge final quarter of preliminary final action coming up live on AFL NTV right after this short break.
After a hard day's work, you deserve it. When you're catching up with mates, you deserve it. Grabbing a bite with the missus, you deserve it. A drive after a few, you deserve it. A road safety message from TIO.
Every cigarette you smoke inside your car hurts the ones you love. And some of them don't have a choice. The next time you decide to have a cigarette, think about who else you're hurting. Smoking can kill those close to you. For help, call the Quit line.
Do you know a family in crisis? Contact the North Australian Aboriginal Family Violence Legal Service. We provide legal advice, representation, referral services and support to family and community. Break the chains of family violence today. Healing NT Families. For more information, call us today.
For Territorians, the roads are more than bitumen. They connect us. For TIO, it's the same. For taking us on safe journeys, for travelling free, for twists and turns, for turning the corner, for taking you back to health. Road safety for Territorians.
Amart Sports is your home of great sports with all the gear you need. Get a massive range of fitness, cycling, sporting equipment and games with clothing for any reason and footwear for all the seasons. From the biggest sporting brands in the world for the very best prices guaranteed. If you're a footy fanatic or a freak for fitness, relish the racket or bikes are your business. Amart Sports has got you covered with 50 stores Australia-wide. For a great range of great brands at great prices, get in store or shop online at Amart Sports today.
What did he say?
Every eye is an eye. When you're doing the surgery there, that is just as important as if you were doing eye surgery on the Prime Minister or the King.
Yeah. He's going to be all right.
Final quarter of action on AFL NTV is underway, and at the moment it's the Bulldogs leading by 7 points. Dave Kennedy and Jackson Clark joining you on AFL NTV as we're back underway. And free kick and advantage given, going the way of the Bulldogs. Long kick inside 50. Good strong mark, almost taken Gugliotta. Oh, just coming through off the ground. It's a great goal. Well, goal might have been kicked there by Spencer, I think.
Might have been Salter.
Or Salter, was it? So, Nick Salter has been the X factor going into this game and could well prove to be the X factor coming out of it.
Unlucky there by the Tigers. I think Gugliotta made pretty good position there at the front of the contest. Couldn't quite hold on to the grab. But at the fall of the ball, you don't expect someone as talented as Salter to be there to, kick a goal out of nothing, really. Could be a game-defining matchup, that Gugliotta and Salter at the moment, I think.
Suddenly margin out to 13 points, and the Bulldogs in the box seat, really. Back into play. They win another clearance. They've really been starting to get on top in the clearances, Jacko.
Yeah, that's it. They say that football games are won out of the middle, and certainly where Banks are getting the upper hand at the moment.
In dispute in the middle of the ground. They pile in, ball up surely. Umpire just letting it go. Eventually it spills out. Well, we're still going. Bulldogs inside 50 through Pearson. Comes off hands. Tibbetts is there. Knappman's also there. Left it behind Gugliotta. Tried to knock it towards the boundary line. Pearson over the top to Knappman. To the top of the goal square. Is that a push out? Umpire said no. Downsfield free kick. Peter Bowie's going to kick a goal here.
That is super costly there by the Tigers. They went from Spring taking a good defensive mark to the downfield free kick being paid, and now Banks looks set to kick a goal and extend the margin to 19 points.
In comes Bowie. And they've skipped away to start this final term. 2 goals in the opening 2.5 minutes to the Bulldogs. Peter Bowie adds his name to the goal-kicking register.
What do you do now, Dave, if you're the Tigers? Do you see the game slipping away, or do you make any structural changes, or do you just let it flow and hope that they can get back into it?
I think you've got to throw someone into the midfield. You've got to start winning those clearances again, because at the moment, the clearances that the Bulldogs are getting are so clean out of the middle. So
possibly a Nathan Brown type, Dave?
Possibly, yeah. I think he's the perfect option, really. So much experience and a bigger body, and there's the clearance that they needed to win, but only as far there as Kaz Black, who cuts it off at centre-half back and then goes wide, looking for Wheeler, runs onto it, takes the mark. Lateral kick, it's good. Williamson sort of flew early, 12th tree weighted down. Ball spills towards the boundary line. Boundary throwing the result.
Would it be fair to say the Tigers need the next one, Dave?
I think that's an understatement, Jacko. I think that they need the next one. They probably need the next 2, really. And they really need to jumpstart their grand final campaign in this last quarter. Because at the moment, it's slipping away. Another boundary throw-in.
Unlucky not to get the free kick there, young Stretton. Doesn't look in the best of shape too. He's getting up now.
He's all right. Close to the boundary again and taken out. So another boundary throw in.
Doesn't look well, Stratton.
Yeah, he's still looking a bit ginger and, really struggling to get to his feet. So carry him off the ground. Nightcliff win the clearance. Little shimmy there from Watson, who's been very good. Kicks to a very dangerous spot. What can the Tigers manage? Chalung waited at the back. Couldn't quite gather. Eventually it comes out there to Baldwin, has the shot on goal right across the face. Pushed as he kicked it, or affected the kick, so out of bounds on the full. Long kick down the line, no mark taken, 12 Tree. Spills out the back, still close to the boundary line. Big bump there on Spencer, and another boundary throw in the result. It's Banks that are leading this one by 19 points, 5.5 minutes gone, final term. Preliminary final, the winner to face Pint in next week's grand final.
Jones Cabillo throwing his weight around there with a big hit. Former best and fairest winner in the Premier League for the Tigers.
There's Spring, who's peeled off half back, kicks inside 50. Kick was just slightly too deep for Nathan Brown, and it's well cut off inside defence. Big fly over the top there came from Sam Priest on centre wing. Umpires found a pushing free kick. It's going the Tigers' way. They go inside 50. Strong mark. The veteran Campbell takes the mark. Is he too far out to score? He's having a look at his options.
Maybe that will be the move, Dave. Robbie Campbell up forward.
It's a big move. And he
kicks like a defender.
A big kick. Kicks into the pocket. It's cut off easy. Cut off mark is taken. 12th Tree in defence. He's been pretty good, 12th Tree, on the last line of defence.
Yeah, he has. Such a reliable player. He very rarely plays a bad game. And his height allows a bit of versatility too. He can go in the ruck, you know, if they're lacking a rucking option. So, such a valuable player for the team.
In dispute on centre wing. Banks do very well. They're going to go forward once again through Bowie, I should say, up towards Knapman, and punched away from him. Boundary thrown at half forward for the Bulldogs. Just a reminder that after this, on AFL NTV, the women's grand final is coming up. Make sure you stick with us on AFL NTV. Sure to be a cracking match. Waratah v Tracy Village. Waratah looking for premiership number 4 in a row. Tracy Village, well, they've only been in the competition for 3 years, or this is their 3rd year. They're already into a grand final. Meantime, here's Chadwick, dispossessed, great tackle. Campbell mops up for the Tigers. They're moving it forward, maybe overusing the footy slightly, but Quinn sends a deep ball inside 50. Good battle one-on-one. Scarlett did well for Banks, tapped it down, but Brown roved, pushed as he kicked and missed. Just a minor score. Good defence, a desperate defence really from the Bulldogs at this stage. Margin an even 3 goals. 8 minutes gone, final term on AFL NTV. 12 Tree once again. Long ball down the line. They all fly. Campbell got it out. Dempsey taken out of play. Boundary throw in.
Big game ladder tonight, Dave. Southern Districts Wanderers in the Premier League. Who's your tip, mate?
I'm not willing to make a tip yet. I'm leaving it till the very last minute. I'm torn. I'm absolutely torn.
Yeah, I'll sit on the fence too, Dave. I think it's always a mystery surrounding which side Andrew Hodges puts out on the park. I know he's been a little bit mysterious over the past couple of weeks, naming players that aren't playing and vice versa. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Hugh Spring emerges from the clearance, kicks up towards Chalung. De Bono leads the race back. Got to be clean, got rid of it, did well. Right out of defence, but out of bounds on the full. So a free kick going the Tigers' way. They need to kick a goal pretty soon, you feel.
surely if you're the Tigers, you need to play on at all costs and just try and create opportunities, for the side. A bit like Port Adelaide last year in the prelim against Hawthorn, where they just played on at all costs and tried to use their run, which I do think an advantage they have over Banks is their run and their outside speed. You'd have to think that's what if you're Stewie Carr, you'd be trying to employ your players to do.
Short kick, loose checking inside 50. Mark is taken, and Tim Adams is going to go back and have a shot on goal. In comes Adams. Really needs to kick a goal for his side, and he does. An important goal for the Tigers. There's still a chance.
Of course, if it's a draw, David, extra time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I mentioned off the top of this quarter that it could well be the last, or it's going to be the last quarter of footy for one of these sides. Well, it might not be. They might have 3 quarters to go. So, good goal there to Tim Adams.
Coach Carr comes onto the middle. Expect him to be ruthless around this contest. He's always been a pretty good clearance player.
Can the Tigers win the clearance and give themselves every opportunity to score once again? The margin is 2 goals. The Bulldogs are the ones going forward though. Clean kick inside, attacking 50. Coming up to meet it there was Mitchell. Didn't take the mark, gathered at ground level. Heard a voice coming from wider still. It was Nick Salter. He let launch from 48 metres out right across the face. Dare I say it, Jacko, the handy point.
Yeah, you mentioned that he heard a voice, and what a handy voice to hear when it's Nick Salter running past you.
Spring plays on from defence. Kick up towards Gugliotta. Didn't quite take the mark. Maybe unlucky not to get a free kick. Gertz is the man that gathers and kicks to the hot spot. Johnson flew. Didn't come down with it to bits. Kick towards the boundary line. Didn't find a target though. Now Banks go back inside 50. Salter, that's Nick Salter, didn't quite take it. Hugh Spring read it off the hands and then kicked a dribbling ball up towards centre half forward. Tackling pressure has really lifted in this last quarter from both sides. Ullman goes in. Spring emerged with the footy. Kicked a high ball up towards half forward. Bouncing ball. Williamson's there. Taps it to his own advantage. Taps it towards the boundary line and eventually runs it out. Tigers survived the onslaught there from the Bulldogs. But in doing that, they've chewed up valuable time.
It's going to be tough, Dave, but it's an open forward line for the Tigers, so scoring opportunities won't be hard. If you're the Banks coach, do you chuck a player behind the ball?
Yeah, look, probably at this time, particularly if this guy kicks a goal towards the goal square, no mark taken, and it's now 14 points the difference.
6.5 minutes to go. Tigers need 3 goals. You would have thought a player or 2 behind the ball may be the smart move.
Oh, it's
a terrible kick.
Tani cuts it off. Well, a straight kick here would just about bury the Tigers. And Brad Tarney's been pretty good today, particularly in close. Let's see how he goes with the set shot. He's got about 40 metres to contend with. He's on the right side for a right footer, starts it right, doesn't bend back enough though, another minus score. So 15 points. Tigers would need 4 straight kicks if we go by the infamous Lee Matthews goals per minute rule. Well, they've got 5 minutes to kick 4 goals, so it's doable.
Peter Bowie just told Nathan Jones, hey mate, why aren't you taking the kick out? So obviously a bit of banter.
There we go. Campbell. Good handball. Ullman. Another handball over the top. Watson.
Stretton back on.
Stretton goes to Ullman. And then into space. Gugliotta. Geez, they worked that well, the Tigers, in the end. Gugliotta sends one to the goal square. They all fly. Can they find someone to kick a goal? It spills out the back. All he has to do is pick it up, Brown, and then kick a goal, and he does. And maybe there's still life in the Tigers.
There's life, Dave. Don't worry about that, mate. 5 minutes to go. Only need 2 goals. It's certainly doable. Great play there too by Anthony Gugliotta, who ran all the way from defence to be a link-up option. He was a bit of a sloppy handball there that came in from Ullman, but Gugliotta mopped up well and kicked long into the forward line, giving his forwards the best chance, which Nathan Brown was able to find a goal out of.
Well, there you go. 15 and a half minutes gone. A big flash of lightning there in the background. Not that close to our ground, don't worry. Play will still continue. And the Tigers are back within 9 points. Banks go forward though. Long kick inside 50. Almost a mark there taken by Natman. Little clearing kick. Johnson, he's wrapped up. Was that holding the ball? Umpire said no. Play on. Tigers get the clearing kick. Quinn asked to run onto the footy. Can he gather? He does, but he's dispossessed there by Pearson. Pearson taps it on in front of himself, and now he's got Quinn for company. Eventually the boundary line beats the pair. Boundary throw in. 16 minutes and 15 seconds gone on AFL NTV. 9 points the difference. Bulldogs leading the Tigers.
Dave, the Bulldogs finished very poorly, I thought, a couple of weeks ago against Nightcliff. Do you think they'd be thinking about it now and wondering whether they do have the legs to run out a game?
Yeah, look, hard to say at this stage. I just sort of feel like you'd be thinking defence at this stage, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Good mark is taken at centre half forward.
Wow.
Baldwin, is this?
They've reversed it.
Wow, there you go. Long kick and a wide kick. The mark is taken and the Bulldogs can go over the top to Priest here. He's got some space. He takes the mark, runs to 70, kicks inside 50. No mark taken, Matt Salter, and it spills out of play. Boundary throw in.
Out on the full, Dave.
Oh, out on the full. Well, the Tigers re-gifted the footy. 9 points the difference. There's 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. They need to get a move on. Players out there aware of the score and the time as well. As Pearson mops up after a mistake, and then the kick inside 50, mark taken. Gugliotta needs to move it on quickly.
You'd plan at all costs, Dave. 2.5 minutes, no time on.
Dylan Dempsey, you've got to factor in retrieving the ball as well, don't you, Jacko? So Jones Cabillo, long down the line, spring in the box seat. He weighted down in the end. No one able to take the mark. Stretton's there. It spills out of play. Boundary throw in. Time really the enemy of the Tigers now. The Bulldogs clinging to a 9-point advantage and the thought of a grand final berth next week. Boundary throw in. It's a short throw in. It favours the Tigers. Coach Carr puts it to centre half forward. Can they find a mark? They certainly can. It's a huge mark that's taken. Need to get up, move the footy on quickly. John Fay sends it to a dangerous spot and the mark is taken inside 50. The Tigers have to be clean here. But more importantly, the goal must be kicked. And the task is set now for Patrick Doyle. In comes Doyle to complete part one of the comeback. Doyle comes in. It's going across the face. It's not going to make the distance. Minus score, 8 points.
Big Paddy Doyle, a cult figure at the Tigers. They would have loved him even more than if he was able to convert that, but it wasn't the case.
Long kick from Banks. It's not quite cleared the congestion as yet. But now they look like they're going to get home, the Bulldogs. Nick Salter gathers, kicks inside 50, and the mark almost taken there by Matt Salter. Spills out of play anyway, and a boundary throw in the result. 8 points the difference with about 40 seconds to go. The Bulldogs look destined for a grand final berth against Pint next week. Boundary throw in as we're just playing out the last moments. Tigers still fighting. Tim Adams kicks long down the line and to the wing. Brown's there, also there to lay the shepherd is Tont. Spills out. Kent got it to Johnson, who headed directly for the boundary line. And a boundary throw in is called on AFL NTV. The Bulldogs, after a solid opening to the third quarter. Look like they might win this one. And there's the siren. Banks win by 8 points and will play Pint in the grand final next week. His thoughts on the game. Jackson Clark joined us today. Jacko, Banks will be really happy to get through this game and play in the grand final after, as you said, coming into this game as favourites.
Yeah, it wasn't a glamorous performance from Banks. I think there'll be a lot of things to work on at training during the week. They were pretty heavily fancied against an under-strength Nightcliff, but at the end of the day, they got the points. That's all that matters. They'll be refreshed. Bit of a romantic sort of grand final next week. The old Tifa powerhouses, Pint and Banks. I'm certainly looking forward to it. I think Pint deserve to go in as favourites, but grand finals are a different story. I think Banks match up fairly well and would certainly give themselves a shot.
Well, as you mentioned, a huge grand final coming up next week. Pint versus Banks. Make sure you tune in next week for that one. And make sure you tune in for the big women's grand final coming up right after this. Jacko, thanks very much for joining us on AFL NTV. Great debut, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. Thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. Hope you have me back one time.
Certainly will, as we leave you for now, and make sure, as I said, you change the link. Women's grand final coming up very shortly. We look forward to your company then.